Terence Crawford is a great fighter, he's a good fighter, but like I say, he's weight classes for a reason.
No, it's business, it's the office. I enjoy it because this is what I love to do.
Now, skill-wise, I think Crawford's a better skilled fighter.
I understand, Canelo is bigger than me and whatnot, but I'm up for the challenge.
Canelo Alvarez has responded to Terence Crawford's latest training footage. Crawford is stepping up his preparations for a possible showdown with Canelo, pushing his workout routine to the next level. His sessions combine strength and conditioning, such as weightlifting and resistance drills, to build both power and stamina. On top of that, Crawford hones his punching skills with intense mitt work and heavy bag training, sharpening his speed and accuracy for the fight. Arab Sheikh Turki Al Sheikh, a passionate boxing enthusiast, has promised to deliver a series of world-class bouts by 2025. Among the most eagerly awaited is the long-anticipated face-off between Saul Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, which could take place in September. According to Boxing News Online, the two fighters secretly met in London last week, outside of Al Sheikh's view, to discuss the terms of their potential matchup. ESPN reported that the fight is tentatively set for the weekend of Mexico's Independence Day in mid-September, with Las Vegas as the venue. The bout would take place at 168 pounds with no rehydration clause. However, one major hurdle remains. Crawford would need to gain 14 pounds to compete at the weight class of the Mexican champion. Canelo has moved through multiple weight classes over the years, starting as a super welterweight where he claimed the WBC world title, and later becoming the unified middleweight champion at 160 pounds. He briefly fought at light heavyweight, defeating Sergey Kovalev to win the IBF title, before settling at super middleweight, where he became the first ever undisputed four-belt champion. While Canelo's fights rarely go the distance, something not seen since 2016, Crawford would have to leap up 2 weight classes to challenge him at 168 pounds. Canelo has expressed some concerns about facing Crawford, emphasizing the role of weight classes in boxing. He stated, "There are weight classes for a reason," implying that Crawford's optimal weight is at 147 pounds. This view stems from Crawford's recent move to 154 pounds, where he won a world title by defeating Israil Madrimov. Despite Crawford's success at this weight, Canelo feels that a jump to 168 pounds could put Crawford at a disadvantage due to the size and power differences. Canelo's stance highlights the traditional boxing principle that weight divisions are meant to ensure fair and competitive matchups while safeguarding the integrity of the sport and the safety of the athletes.
So you can't look forward past Saturday, but do you feel like a fight like Terence Crawford? I see he wants to fight, he's made it clear. Do fights like that help your legacy, or do you feel like that's something that's not worth it to you?
Everything in my career, every fight make my legacy different and better, Terence Crawford is a great fighter, he's a good fighter, but like I say, he's weight classes for a reason. I'm focused 100% on Berlanga, and then you never know what happened.
Yeah.
Canelo Alvarez has called out Terence Crawford's padded record, claiming the fighter has avoided elite competition throughout his 17-year career. According to Canelo, Crawford's best win came against a depleted, weight-drained, and car crash-injured version of Errol Spence. Aside from that, no one else on Crawford's resume stands out as truly elite, suggesting that he has not earned the praise he's received. Canelo pointed out that Crawford is a product of clever matchmaking by promoters in today's boxing landscape. While acknowledging Crawford's talent, Canelo emphasized that the Nebraska fighter has only one significant victory to his name, with no other standout wins. Canelo's comments, made to TMZ Sports, take aim at Crawford's overall resume. He argued that Crawford's lone major victory over a worn-out Spence does not define him as one of the sport's all-time greats. Since Spence's near-fatal car crash in 2019, he has never returned to his previous form. Canelo believes that Crawford's record lacks truly competitive, talented opponents, as Crawford has always been the favorite in nearly every fight. Canelo's point underscores the notion that Crawford's career has been shaped by carefully selected opponents, rather than facing a challenging mix of 50-50 matchups.
Are you tired of people asking you about Terence yet?
No, look, I always say, I respect Terence Crawford. He's a very talented fighter, but he just win one big fight. If you see his record, he just beat one good fighter like Errol Spence is.
Yes.
But other than that, I don't think he's beating other great fighter like Spence. He did a really good job with Spence. He did almost look very easy but I knew Terence Crawford is a great fighter. But you never know in boxing. We'll see.
Canelo recently made remarks about Terence Crawford's career, which prompted Crawford to respond on X, formerly Twitter. In his tweet, Crawford fired back, defending his accomplishments and expressing frustration with Canelo's criticism. LOL, that's crazy, so every fighter I fought is not good, but one noted, just remember what you said, because I've always had the joy in making somebody's look like nobody's. Critics of Terence Crawford argue that his career has been carefully curated, with most of his opponents falling into the B-level category to keep his record spotless. They point to fighters like Jaron Ennis, Bakram Murtazaliev, and Virgil Ortiz Jr., suggesting that Crawford has avoided top-tier opponents. Some even believe that in order to prove himself worthy of a fight against Canelo, Crawford should move up to 168 pounds and take on challengers like David Benavidez or David Morrell. Despite the criticism, Crawford remains confident in his achievements, brushing off claims that his resume is weak or padded, and continuing to assert his dominance in the sport. Canelo has acknowledged the growing interest from fighters wanting to face him, stating, "Everyone wants to fight with me, so it's fine. If the fight makes sense, then why not?" Although Canelo was once hesitant to fight Crawford, citing the lack of credit for defeating a smaller opponent, his perspective has shifted over time. Recently, Canelo met with boxing power broker Turki Al-Sheikh in London to discuss a possible fight with Crawford. Should the bout come to fruition, Crawford would need to move up to super middleweight, a significant weight jump that many experts believe could be challenging for him. Two-weight world champion Teofimo Lopez, who has trained alongside Canelo under coach Eddie Reynoso, is among those who think the weight increase could be too much for Crawford. Regardless of these concerns, the potential matchup has sparked immense excitement among boxing fans and analysts alike.
Respectful for Crawford to call you out at 68, say that he can beat you at this weight?
No, everybody wants to fight with me, so it's fine.
That being a biggest fight possible in boxing, is that something you'd actually be interested in?
It's crazy when you asking about that, because you say, your matchup is coming out with the other weight classes, and and he's welterweight, so don't make sense. But if the fight makes sense, why not?
A lot of people have him at #1 pound for pound. You think that's fair to you?
It's a few people there who deserve to be the #1 pound for pound. And
Canelo Alvarez has expressed confidence regarding a potential fight with Terence Crawford, saying it would be easy money if the terms are right. However, he also admitted that he doesn't particularly enjoy fighting opponents like Crawford, citing his tendency to move a lot, which he feels makes the fight boring. This reveals Canelo's preference for more straightforward matchups, as Crawford's style, characterized by constant movement, may not align with Canelo's usual strategy. Despite this, discussions about a fight between the two have moved forward, with reports suggesting that an agreement has been reached for a showdown in Las Vegas in September 2025. The potential matchup has stirred considerable excitement within the boxing community. Canelo has also spoken about his future in the ring, specifically mentioning a possible bout with the undefeated Terence Crawford following his victory over Edgar Berlanga. Acknowledging the possibility of facing Crawford, Canelo said, "Anything is possible," and emphasized that securing favorable terms is crucial for a high-profile fight like this. In a recent development, it's been reported that Canelo and Crawford have been in promising talks with Saudi boxing chief Turki Al-Sheikh to organize a major fight in 2025. Both fighters are said to have agreed on a September showdown in Las Vegas. While these discussions suggest a potential mega fight on the horizon, Canelo remains focused on his current commitments and has made it clear that he would consider the Crawford bout after fulfilling his existing obligations.
There's a chance there, right? We'll see, but always is a chance there, and we're here to make the best deals, and always a chance.
And I do have to ask you about Dimitri Bivol, because that's a rematch you've always talked about wanting. How do you see the rematch going with Bivol and Beterbiev?
I think it's gonna be another good fight. It's gonna be another good fight. Both fighters are good fighters, so I think both have a chance to win. Like the first one was a really good fight.
So whatever is next, we look forward to it, my friend. Thank you so much and have a great evening.
Canelo Alvarez is expected to play a major role in the Riyadh series, following recent discussions about a potential mega fight with Terence Crawford. The event, which will be hosted in Saudi Arabia, aims to showcase top-tier boxing talent, with both fighters having reportedly agreed to terms for a bout in September 2025. The Riyadh series is set to feature this highly anticipated showdown, with Saudi boxing chief Turki Al-Sheikh eager to bring significant events to the region. Al-Sheikh has offered over $200 million to bring Canelo to Riyadh, emphasizing the importance of this fight for Saudi Arabia's growing presence in global boxing. During an interview at the opening of El Pastor del Ar in San Diego, Canelo commented on the business side of his career, stating, "I never say no to business," and expressing his willingness to negotiate if the deal is right. He also revealed that 80% of the profits from his fights, including ticket sales, go directly to him. Canelo acknowledged the risks involved in his career, but emphasized that he's willing to take them, knowing that the financial rewards are substantial.
Saul, my carnal, how are you? Quick question. I know, as we walk, Canelo, how important is it that you've spoke with Turki Al-Sheikh?
Say again, please.
How important for you is it that you've spoke to Turki Al-Sheikh, and what did you speak about?
Look, I like to work with everybody. You know, I'm a free agent, and I like to work with everybody. And you know, I like to have the doors open.
Are we going to see Canelo Crawford next?
We'll see. It's a possibility there always. No, we'll see what happens.
Have you spoke with Turki about that show?
Yeah,
about Canelo?
We know each other. We don't talk that much for make a deal and anything, but you know, we now know each other, and we'll see what happens.
Last one, I know you're pushed for time. Benavidez Morel, who wins?
It's gonna be a good fight. It's gonna be a good fight. 50-50 fight.
Canelo, thank you for that.
In a recent interview, Mikey Garcia shared his perspective on a hypothetical fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Garcia praised Crawford as one of the most skilled fighters he's ever seen, recalling a conversation where he acknowledged Crawford's remarkable achievements and the lack of recognition he often receives due to the politics and favoritism in boxing. Despite Crawford's impressive technical abilities, Garcia pointed out the significant size difference between the two fighters as a key factor in the matchup. He noted that Canelo competes at 168 pounds, while Crawford has recently moved up to 154 pounds and faced challenges at that weight. Garcia expressed doubt about Canelo dropping below 166 pounds, believing that the size and power advantage would ultimately favor Canelo, even though Crawford is the more technically skilled fighter. He concluded by stating that he's not in favor of the matchup, as Crawford has already proven himself as a champion across multiple weight divisions. Veteran boxing analyst Dan Rafael also weighed in on the potential clash between Canelo and Crawford. He pointed out that Canelo is sharp in business matters and would be motivated by the significant financial rewards such a fight could generate. Rafael suggested that this matchup has the potential to be one of the most significant in boxing history, drawing enormous attention and generating substantial revenue. He emphasized that both fighters are at the peak of their careers, making this potential fight one of the most highly anticipated events in the boxing world.
I've read somewhere that Canelo has shortlisted Crawford for the May fight, his fight in May. Dan, what's happening?
Yeah, listen, I think it's just a fluid situation. I don't think there's anything definitive one way or the other at this point. I mean, it's not a secret that that's a fight that's been discussed by a lot of us and by a lot of people in the sport for quite a while. Certainly, it's a fight that Turki Al-Sheikh from Saudi Arabia has shown a lot of interest in. And of course, if it's going to get made, someone's going to have to put up a lot of guaranteed money. And he's probably the person that's going to do it. He's obviously been working closely with Terence Crawford. He was involved with the Terence Crawford's last fight that took place in August when he fought Israel Madrimov. It's obviously a fight that Terence Crawford has been very vocal about wanting. Now, Canelo hasn't ever said he wanted the fight, kind of downplayed it to a certain degree. But it wasn't that long ago. I don't know, maybe a couple of months ago, he was doing an appearance and he was asked about it and he didn't close the door on it. In the past, he sort of like closed the door on it. It was like, I'm not interested. He's like, listen, I'll talk to anybody and listen to what they have to say about the deal, any kind of deal. So in my mind, that sort of at least cracked open the door to have the conversation. Like he wasn't just saying, forget it, in terms of working with Turkey or anybody else. So I think that Canelo is a smart person in terms of his boxing, but also in terms of his business. And when he looks around at the landscape and he wants to make a huge amount of money, like all top fighters or any fighter for that matter, and he looks and sees, who can I fight where I can make the biggest score, you know, in a big time fight?
Ryan Garcia has expressed strong confidence in a potential fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, predicting that Canelo's size and strength would give him the upper hand in the matchup. Garcia's assertion aligns with recent reports suggesting that negotiations for the fight are nearing completion, with a target date set for September 2025 in Las Vegas. The fight is expected to take place at 168 pounds, with Crawford moving up 2 weight classes to challenge Canelo for his unified super middleweight titles. This bout is anticipated to become a major commercial event, drawing significant attention from boxing fans worldwide. Terence Crawford has also shown enthusiasm for the potential fight, describing it as the biggest in boxing and something he has long desired. Crawford recognizes the massive appeal of the matchup to fans and acknowledges Canelo's size advantage, admitting that Canelo is bigger than him. Despite the size disparity, Crawford remains confident in his abilities and is eager to take on the challenge. The fight is reportedly close to being finalized, with the target date still set for September 2025 in Las Vegas, and is expected to draw a global audience, making it one of the biggest events in boxing history.
Guys, we know the fighters know the intel before the news gets released to the public. King Ryan was asked about Canelo Crawford. He not only says he can't believe they got that fight done, meaning that that's a done deal. We obviously knew that, but he also gives you who he thinks wins that fight, Canelo or Crawford. Do you agree with Ryan Garcia?
Right.
What about Canelo and Crawford? What do you think?
That's going to be a great fight, too. I can't believe they made that happen. Turkey's been making a lot of great fights happen. You can't really hate on it. But I'm excited for that. I know Canelo is so big, so strong, and I think he'll be just too big. I mean, weight classes matter for a reason.
Last question, Ali.
Stephen A. Smith recently shared his thoughts on a potential fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, emphasizing the intrigue of the matchup. Initially, Smith leaned toward Crawford, praising his exceptional skills as a pure boxer and his ability to outclass opponents in the ring. However, he raised concerns about Crawford's ability to hurt Canelo, a physically imposing fighter known for his immense power. Smith pointed out how Canelo's relentless pressure and powerful shots can overwhelm boxers who lack the ability to keep him at bay. While acknowledging Crawford's technical superiority, Smith expressed doubts about whether Crawford could withstand or evade Canelo's power over the course of the fight. Ultimately, Smith found the matchup compelling, recognizing that Crawford's skill and strategy would be tested like never before against a force as dominant as Canelo. The clash between Crawford's boxing IQ and Canelo's physicality promises to be a captivating battle, leaving fans eager to see how Crawford fares against such a powerful opponent.
It looks very possible he'll fight Crawford in May. What would you think of that matchup, Canelo and Crawford?
You know what, I think my initial reaction would be to say that I think that Crawford would be the superior boxer, as great as Canelo is. This season as he is with 65 fights, if I recall, on his record, he's phenomenal. But Crawford is something special. I think that he's a better pure boxer. I think boxing-wise, he's going to give Canelo fits. My concern is that he won't hurt Canelo. And if he doesn't hurt Canelo and can't hurt Canelo, then Canelo keeps coming. Similar to how he stalked Charlo, how he stalked, once he had Plant hurt, he chased after him. Canelo is a very powerful individual who can get exposed by a boxer because every shot he throws, he's trying to make it a power shot. But to me, can Crawford hurt him? I would pick Crawford to win if he can box and stay away. I don't believe he can hurt Canelo. And if Canelo catches him, it could be trouble. But I would still say it would be a very interesting fight. I just believe that Crawford hasn't been in the ring with anybody this powerful. And I'm wondering whether he could stay away.
Crawford's fight with Julius Ndongo showed that it might not be as easy or punishing as some might think. Early on, Crawford had his hands full, but he proved his true strength as a fighter. His willingness to fight and his drive to win have been key factors in his success. Crawford's determination to step up when necessary, especially in tight rounds, demonstrates his championship mindset. He rises to the challenge, showing a fierce commitment to victory. However, the main issue with a potential fight against Canelo is the weight difference. Despite the speculation, the weight disparity remains a significant concern. While some may try to downplay it, the difference in size could heavily influence the fight. This factor adds a complex layer to the matchup, making it a key consideration moving forward.
To be honest, when Crawford fought Madrimov, he had his hands full, especially early in the fight. Now, I give props to Crawford because Crawford is the type of fighter where he does have like a chip on his shoulder and a willingness to win. He has drive, and if you tell him step it up, the rounds are too close, you're going to get a dedicated Crawford. So he is a true fighter, a true champion, all that. The biggest gripe I have with the fight is the weight. You guys could try to spin it and say, I hate this guy or that guy. I don't really care. What do I look like being a true alpha and being bothered by what people say? I don't care. I'm telling you my opinion. And my opinion is not going to change because I know you guys can't change it. I've said the same thing, and not one time have I heard one of the Bud Buddies offer a solution to the arguments that I've brought up. Crawford is good, but so is Canelo. If they were naturally the same size, which they're not, Crawford is probably maybe a little bit taller, but I'm talking about math.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned for more updates and in-depth analysis. Until next time, keep your gloves up and your spirits high.